行くぞ。
タッチボー決まりだ。タッチレター。
How's it going, everybody? It's Alninio, and we're back with another LPDU guide. This one we're doing top. We're starting right from scratch, baby. If you guys want to check out the DSR and the T1, it's going to be down in the description below. We're going to be following LPDU Strats. If you guys don't know about LPDU, it is a Discord server aimed to basically help people prog and clear EU ultimates, pretty much every single ultimate. So this video is going to be highlighting all the LPDU strats. Feel free to join the Discord. It will be in the description below. Without further ado, let's get started with phase 1. So I will actually start this guide off here showing the very first part, and then we'll go over the raid plan and talk about each of the debuffs here. But here is basically the very, very start of top, right? The tank is going to be positioning towards southwest here. There's actually a very good reason for this, by the way, is because the melees are going to be up here normally, well, usually when the towers spawn, but we'll talk about the towers later. But if you are a tank, positioning like this in the beginning is actually very, very good. So this is the absolute start. And program loop will be the first cast. And here are the debuffs. This is going to be the absolute key here. So we're going to talk about each of the debuffs. You'll see that 2 people have number 1, 2 people have number 2, 2 people have number 3, and 2 people have number 4. So there's always 2 of each of the debuffs. I'm going to be explaining what the debuffs are actually for and how to proceed with the mechanic. So bear with me here. There's a lot of, it might seem overwhelming, but I'm going to be explaining things step by step. First, we'll talk about the debuffs. What do they mean and what are they for? What do you do with them? So if we look here at the top left of the raid plan, we have it's the tower soak order and the tether soak order. So essentially, there's going to be towers and tethers during this mechanic. There will be 2 towers spawning and there will be 2 tethers spawning. So 2 people have to soak 2 towers, and then the other 2 people have to take the 2 tethers, okay? And based off the debuffs we showed, it's going to be in this order. If you're towers, it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, just like that, from 1 to 4, straightforward. If you're going to be doing the tethers, it's going to be 3, 4, 1, 2. So you go 3, 4, then 1, 2, okay? The next up, there's going to be a prio system, which I'm going to explain as I showcase how it's done based off number. I'm going to be showing every single number POV, so it's going to be very concrete. Just note that there is a prio because the towers are going to be spawning in different places, right? And you have to keep this in mind. Based off where the towers spawn, it's going to be which tower you'll be soaking clockwise from a marker. So you look at a marker and you go like this. This is the order of prio right here, from M1 all the way to H2. And based off which number debuff you have, you're going to be doing your role. Whether it's a tether or whether it's a tower, we're going to follow the same priority of from alpha going clockwise. I do want to mention that there is a tower right beside alpha, and it's a little bit to the left of A. So just want to make it clear now, if there's a tower there, right? Let's say M1 and M2, right? We both have the same debuff thing, right? So me and M1. M1 will be taking this one. Even though it may seem like it's the most anti-clockwise, it is not. We're going to consider it as the clockwise one. Mainly because it is so close to A marker. So LPDU does it this way. Okay, just want to point it out there, right? So I'm going to showcase the POV now, and I'm going to go over step by step. So the first one here we're going to be talking about is the number 1 debuff. In this example, I have number 1 debuff, and I'm just going to kind of explain to you the number 1 POV, right? So in this example, I am number 1 with the Sage. If we follow the priority that we explained earlier, I would be taking the most clockwise tower and the most clockwise tether. This would be different if I was number 1 with Viper, who is M1. I am M2. But to not overwhelm you here, we'll go over this. I will showcase another POV where I'm the same number as the other melee, and I'll show you how that's done. Okay, but for now, I'm just showing you, based off the priority, it's M2 and H2 in this example, that we both have 1. So, it starts like this. Program loop, you'll see, there's a tower here and a tower here. If we look at alpha going clockwise, I will be taking this tower as number 1. Remember, number 1 is soaking the towers first. And as for the tethers, it's number 3's taking tethers. As you can see here, we have the Dancer and the Pictomancer. They are taking tethers. Dancer is R1, Pictomancer is R2. So as number 1 here, I'm just going to talk about number 1. I'm not going to talk about number 3 because I'll have a number 3 POV for that. But here's number 1. Okay, so I'm taking the tower. And as you can see here, the Sage is taking the other tower as the most anti-clockwise. I'm taking the most clockwise from alpha marker. So boom, we take number 1. Next up, we chill out, okay? We don't do anything for this next step because now it's number 2's turn to soak, right? So we're chilling, and it's number 4 is taking the tethers here. So I am absolutely chilling. And then I take the tether. Because now it's my turn. As number 1, I am taking the 3rd tether. And we just do it like this. Now, I just want to be clear on something here. If you notice here, there's a tower at Alpha, and there's a tower towards Charlie, okay? So as a tether, I'm going to take the most clockwise cardinal, right? Or just away from the tower. So this is the first tower, the other tower. I can never be, as a tether, I will never be on top of a tower or anywhere like close to it. But I can move over to beta marker, and the other person will move over there. Again, we follow the same priority for towers as we do tethers. Me and the Sage were number 1, which means the Sage will always be further anti-clockwise of me. So this is why I take beta marker, okay? So we go over to beta marker, we do our thing, mechanic resolved, and then right here, we just stand still and let thing resolve. We just let people take their tethers. At this point, my job is done. I don't have to do anything else, right? And the mechanic is done for the last people soak their tower, and that's the number 1 POV. Now, I'm going to be showcasing number 2 POV. And now we're going to be showcasing number 2 POV. This is number 2. And I'll showcase the steps here. Now this is actually a very, very good example because as you can see here, me and the Dragoon both have number 2. What do we do here? So, I am the M2 and Dragoon is M1, right? So the M1 as a Dragoon, he is the most clockwise. And I am the most anti-clockwise. For tethers and for towers, they're the same thing. Okay, so you'll see here as number 2, for the first thing, we do nothing. We do absolutely nothing. We don't take towers, we don't take tethers. It's not our turn yet. So we're chilling. What we need to do is take number 2 tower. And if you see here, here's the important part. I'm gonna go back a little bit here just to really nail down this part, okay? This part's really important. In this example, right? Here comes the second set of towers spawning. You can see going from alpha and going here. This is the first tower that spawned, which means this is going to be the Dragoon's tower by default, right? Because he's M1 and I'm M2. I'm second in prio, which means I will be taking the other tower most anti-clockwise. There it is. It's very important, by the way. I actually really want to show this part here. Remember that at any point, when you're crossing to go over to your tower, always make sure you don't walk straight like this. Otherwise, you're going to pluck this tether and it's going to be a whole mess. So always walk behind them if you need to rotate around to get to a tower. Don't worry, you have plenty of time. So make sure you run over. See right here? We walk around them. We take the tower, just like so. And now we're chilling. Now we're chilling. We don't have to do anything else. And now it's my turn. Time to take the tether. I'm the final set of tether. And if you can see here, when this last tower set spawns, when I take the tether, I notice that there is a tower up north and a tower towards south. And since I'm the most anti-clockwise, right? Because it's still, always remember who your partner is. Always remember that who got the same number as you, because they're your partner for the whole mechanic. And so right here, I'm gonna take this person's tether, and I head over. And I just want to make sure, clarify this part, by the way. If you ever think, oh, well, how do you decide which tether to take? How do you decide, oh, should I take the Paladins or the Gunbreaker? So my spot will be here by default, so all I have to do is just take a Ravi's tether here, and I'll just be chilling towards the western part of the map. Because I am the most anti-clockwise, which means this is my tether and this is my spot by default. And I just go there. Or like the most anti-clockwise in this example. I'm the most anti-clockwise, I take the most anti-clockwise tether. If that's an easier way to explain it. But yeah. So now that is number 2. Next up, I'll be showcasing number 3. Now we're going to be showcasing number 3 POV. So in this example, it's me and Gunbreaker. And if we follow the prio, it's M1 then M2 clockwise in the prio, which means as number 3, I am having clockwise priority. So the first thing you do as your number 3, you literally stand like this. Everyone is behind you standing, and you're just gonna move forward because the tether has to go straight like this, and you could just pluck it off immediately. The next step is you're gonna see where the towers are. In this example, the tower is west and east side, which means by default, I'm gonna be going towards alpha marker. Since I am the prio in clockwise, I am taking alpha, Gunbreaker's taking south. After this, I'm gonna relax, do nothing, I'm chilling. Because it's not my turn yet. Now it's my turn. I will be taking the number 3 tower. This is the clockwise tower, so I will be taking that one. Gunbreaker will be taking the most anti-clockwise tower, because that's the order of prio. And now my job is done. I don't have to do anything else. Now it's number 4 people doing their thing, and the number 2s. Just like so. So there you go, that's number 3. Next, I'll be showing number 4. So in this example, me and Astro have number 4. So I have clockwise priority. So number 4, here's what you do. You're chilling. You're just gonna stand here because number 3s need to take the tether off of you or off the group because they're all standing here. Your job as number 4 is to just stand between the 2 towers here and you're chilling until it's your turn. Now it's my turn to take tether. Number 4 has the second turn in the tether. So I will be taking the most clockwise tether. Since it's me and Astro, I have clockwise prio, which means I take this tether clockwise. And I head over to Alpha, since Alpha does not have a tower or anything. Now, even if there was a tower here, remember, we're always following clockwise. Even if there was a tower here, I will go here, towards Beta. I will just keep going clockwise until there's an available safe spot for me with the tether. So, just want to solidify this point, okay? So right here, okay, we did the second tether as number 4. Now we're gonna wait for number 3s to take their towers right here. And now it's number 4's turn. I'll be taking the most clockwise tower as number 4. And there it is. There it is. That's pretty much every single number. This is essentially how you resolve the mechanic. I tried to simplify this as best as I can. I'm not gonna overwhelm you more than this. This is how you do it. This is how you need to walk. This is your movement. Just follow these steps and you're gonna win. All right, next up we'll be talking about Panto. So this is the mechanic that comes right after the tethers and towers. And the first thing I want to talk about as we get into this is the debuffs and how to initially start. Group 2 will start south. Group 1 will start north. Okay? This is the first steps, and then you're gonna receive these debuffs. The same number of stuff is gonna happen, and you're gonna have new set of debuff. You can see here, it has a timer, and each person has a different, based off the group, it's gonna have different timer. So like, if we see here, as Ninja here, I have 17 seconds. Then Dancer over here also has 17 seconds. Now Dancer is R1, they're on the opposite side of me. And it's gonna be like this. But it's important that you keep in mind of flexing in this part. Flexing is going to be super important. So we'll talk about flexing, because if you have the same number and someone else is also the same number as you in your group, you will need to flex to the other group, and I'll be talking about the priority for that. Okay, so let's get into the raid plan, and I'll explain to you step by step. So here's the raid plan. I'm going to be talking about the flexing part. So if we see here at the very bottom box of the raid plan, you have main tank flexing if you match with M1, R1, H1. So a lot of people, what they do is they order their party list based off their groups, so you know instantly if you have the same debuff as them or not. So all you care about is if they have the same number as you. If I have number 2, I will flex. If my partner with me has number 2, I will flex. I'll take M1 as an example. Let's say I am M1 and my R1 has the same number as me. I will move to the other group. I will go to group 1, or I will go to group 2, I'm sorry, since we're bringing M1 as the example. So whether it's R1 or H1, I am flexing. And then R1 will flex if you're the same as healer, and the healer will never flex. So if you're a healer, well, you're pretty happy. You don't really have to do much flexing. You're just chilling. You sit there and you heal and you DPS. It's great. So healers have it pretty chill on this one. But remember, if you're main tank, you have it the toughest, because you have to look at 3 people and check if you have the same number as them or not. And from there, you're going to decide if you need to flex or not. Okay? So now that we got that out of the way, here is the patterns. We're going to be talking about the patterns of Panto. It's going to have these conal cleaves, and they're going to be rotating around the arena. They're going to go like in waves, right? And it's always going to be opposite of each other. So we'll bring up this example here. Group 1 starts north, group 2 starts south, just like so. Group 1, group 2 sides like this. Same thing. Now, there is one thing I need to mention. There's going to be a pattern where it's a sidestep. So if you see this pattern right here, group 1 and group 2 south, you're not gonna move clockwise, you're simply going to sidestep. The best way I can explain this is if the cone cuts through the alpha marker and the Charlie marker, you are sidestepping. You're not gonna rotate all the way clockwise, okay? And I want to specifically mention, when it cuts it halfway, it doesn't cover the entire marker, okay? So in this example, group 1 is going to sidestep over here, and group 2 is going to sidestep over here. Next example, same thing, just opposite side, okay? Group 1 will sidestep here, group 2 will sidestep here. That's it. It's cleaving half of the marker. Now, what happens if it cleaves the entire marker? If it cleaves the entire marker, you're going to move clockwise, okay? So group 1 ends up moving clockwise, group 2 moves here, so you end up on west and east. There's going to be different patterns for this, so it's important to know if you need to sidestep or rotate fully clockwise. Just know that essentially you're going to be in your quadrant, and you're going to rotate clockwise. All right? Sounds good. Now I'm going to be showcasing the in-game POV for this. So here we go. The mechanic is starting. I am group 2 as M2. I'm starting south, and I look and I see the dancer is the ranged one. Dancer has number 2, and I have number 2, which means I do not need to flex. I stay in my group 2. So we're chilling, and if you see here, the cone AoE is cleaving half of the marker, which means all I have to do here is sidestep. Sidestep like this. That's it. So we sidestep like this, and what people usually do is they stand around the hitbox in the center, like so. Okay, and you dodge. Once the poop AoE start happening, you're gonna dodge the cones and you're gonna keep rotating. Once this debuff hits 6 seconds, there's gonna be a laser blast coming from the boss, okay? And it's just gonna go like this, zap. This needs to be soaked. This needs to be soaked as 3 people, okay? Because the other person, if you see here, the sage, they're baiting puddles away. This debuff here, this debuff has to be away from the group. You need to walk away from the group, and it's gonna cause like an AoE explosion around you. And if it's on top of other people, it's gonna push them back all the way outside the arena. And that will be bad. You don't want that. So if you can see here, once it hits 6 seconds, this is my cue to start running. So I'm away from my group. I run away. I go forward. Debuff runs out. There it is. You saw that cleave right there? That was it. And then what I want to do is, as I come back to my group, I want to make sure the poop AoE puddles, they're not going to be on top of my group. So I poop one out right here, and then I join my group. Alternatively, you can go all the way to the edge and then join your group. But if you want to like max melee, you can do this. For me, I just like poop here, and then I move to my group. And as you can see here, we all poop together right there. And at that point, once you've finished resolving your mechanic, your number, you're just going to keep rotating with your group. Yeah, until everyone's turn. They all, basically, the way I can best explain this is everyone is looking at this debuff timer. And when it hits 6 seconds, that's the time you want to start moving. That's the time you want to start moving. And you move forward. And I'll showcase it again here just to really solidify this point, okay? You can see Sage is coming. See, I'm already moving. I'm moving. Just like so. Boom. GCD. Go back to my group. Just like so. See? And you're always, you want to make sure that as you return to the group and you're doing your part and pooping the AoE away from the group, you have to make sure you're back in time with your group. This has to be soaked together. It has to. It does so much damage. There it is. And that's pretty much the mechanic, and everyone else is doing the exact same thing as you're doing, based off their number and based off their debuff timer. I'm going to showcase another example here where I flex. So I'm going to be using a tank POV. This is the off-tank POV from our good fellow Aravi. And he's playing off-tank, which means as off-tank, you have to look, and if we look at the party list here, here's me, and I am number 3 with Aravi, who's playing off-tank, and I am M2. We're both starting south, and he has to basically see which group 2 member is going to have the same number. In this example, I have the same number as him, and like we said with the prio list, tank is always going to be the priority in flexing. This is why as M2, I would never flex here if I have number 3 with a tank. Like, never. So I stay put, Aravi moves. So here it is. Right here. He starts south, moves over to group 1, okay? And just keep in mind that group 1 is doing the same thing as well. One of them is flexing. So if we see here in the party list, okay? In group 1, we have Caligula and Machinist. Both of them are number 2, which means Caligula, as main tank, would have to flex to group 2. So there's always going to be a 4-4 split in the groups, always. There's never going to be 5 on one side and 3 on the other side or anything like that. It's always 4-4. I just wanted to clarify that. Okay? If one person's flexing on the other group, there's another flexing on the other group as well. And it's going to be the exact same thing. In this example here, you see how the cones are going? You would rotate anti-clockwise. I also want to mention here, by the way, this is actually important that I want to mention, you're not always rotating clockwise. Okay? You are not always rotating clockwise. This is why, as we start in the middle and see if it's going to go clockwise or anti-clockwise. In this example, the cones are rotating anti-clockwise. You're just going to follow it. You can see he's number 3. But number 1 is going to go off first. It's always in the order 1, 2, 3, 4. So number 1 will be moving. As you can see, Kiara has finished doing their number 1 mechanic. Now it's number 2 moving. As you can see, boom, they're already moving. And there is the 6. See, once his debuff hits 6 seconds, boom, the blast happened. That's a 3-man stack. It's also happening on the other group as well. And here is his movement. You can see he's max meleeing, and boom. So this is max meleeable. Just like so, number 4 does their thing. And there it is. So we showcased a flex, and we showcased standard. No matter what number you have, the way you do the dodging and the movement is pretty much the same. It's identical. Just know what the important part is if you have the same number as someone else, and if you need to flex or not. That's what you want to pay attention to. And remember the 6-second rule. okay? You always want to look at your debuff and wait till it hits 6 seconds, because that's the time when the blast happens, and that is your cue to be able to move forward and poop all the AoE, basically. So just like that. See, at that point, he's like, all right, it's time to move. It's time to move. AoE happens right here. Boom. That's the AoE. That's the thing that would knock everyone back. So that's it. That is pretty much Panto in its entirety. And now we're going to finish off with the very final part of Panto. All right, so we're here at the last part of Panto. And essentially here, once you finished with all the poop AoEs and everything, this is going to be the positions for healers and DPS. You're going to be standing like so, because there's going to be prey markers. It's going to be prey markers going off. It's like a laser, straight line laser, essentially. And the tanks are going to be going north, and they will be max meleeing and using Invuln. It's a 5 wide cone tank buster, and it's baited on the furthest 2 players. So it's really important that if you're a DPS and healer, you want to be inside the hitbox ring. You cannot be outside. This is actually super important. This is super important. So you have to make sure that you're in. I also do want to mention that the timing of the Invuln, this is going to help you out right now, for you to know this as early as possible during your prog. The timing for the Invuln is after 4 beeps. There's going to be a beep sound effect coming from the prey markers. It's like essentially when the prey markers come out, there's going to be a beep sound effect. After 4 beeps, that's when you time your Invuln. You basically want to make sure that the Invuln lasts for this entire part. So how you time it really does matter. So keep in mind of this. 4 beeps spoken to an expert tank player, all right? And he said 4 beeps, so I am trusting him on this one. All right, 4 beeps. These positions are static, by the way. They're not changed or anything like that. It will be just like so inside the boss hitbox, and you're gonna get beamed essentially 3 at a time. And that's pretty much it. I'm gonna show you how it looks in the game. So now we just got done with this mechanic with the poop AoEs. Now I'm gonna be showcasing exactly where you need to stand for this. And essentially, everyone's going to be in their Strats positions. You can see people have prey markers right here. Everyone's in their static positions, and the tanks are at north, max meleeing, and both of them popped Invuln. I will showcase another POV of the tanks, and it's going to be very, very clear when you time your Invuln for that. Okay, so here we go. We're just going to literally, as DPS and healer, you're just standing here. And then in this example, we killed the boss super fast because this fight, we did it basically like towards the end of Endwalker. So we killed it fast, but basically there's going to be an enrage cast, and you want to kill it at that point if you didn't kill it earlier. So just keep that in mind. There's an enrage after this. But yeah, that is pretty much what you need to do. It's pretty straightforward. You just stand still and let things resolve. Now I'm going to be showcasing the tank POV and the Invuln timing, which is super important. So I'm actually going to be increasing the volume of this video just so it's very, very clear of the sound of the beeps. Okay, they come from the prey markers, and this is the exact timing. Okay, so I'm going to play the video here and let you hear it. Okay, so here it comes. Right here. And that's the exact Invuln timing. I will now put up my fingers so it's even more clear. So as they go off, I'm gonna put up in my fingers the counting. Okay? Hold. Just like so. And as you can see here, Invuln lasted for all of the Tankbusters. They were able to take it both. And yeah, both tanks have to essentially Invuln together like this. And that's the timing for the Invuln. Now I'm going to be showcasing a version where this is done with Paladin, because usually Paladins do not want to pop Invuln here because of how their Invuln lines up later, and it's super important. Like Paladin's Invuln time is super long. So now I'm going to be showcasing Paladin. And so now we're going to be showcasing a POV with the Paladin. Like we said, Paladins don't want to Invuln this because of how long their Invuln CD is. So instead, if you're playing with a Paladin, this is what you do. You will max melee, and you're going to pop your 25s and your 90s. So in this example, right, we have Rampart, right, and we have Corundum. There's also a camouflage that's being used here. You can also use that. But essentially, 25s and 90s is good enough. And that's pretty much it. That is the end of Panto. That is the end of Phase 1. This is how you get past the mechanic. Best of luck to you guys progging. If you're playing with a Paladin, it's also super important to know about this part in the beginning of P2. Okay? In the beginning of P2, when you're playing with a Paladin, you want aggro, if you're the non-Paladin tank, you want aggro on both. I do want to mention that in Phase 2, Group 2 will go to the east side of the map, and Group 1 will go west side of the map. And they're going to be attacking their mob. You will get a debuff where you cannot attack the other mob, so you want to be close to the one you want to attack. In this example, Aravi is the Gunbreaker, provokes Mail. Okay, because there will be a Tankbuster here, which is super, super important, and you're going to be invulning that. See? Just like so. The Paladin will not use, anything here. They're chilling, and as the other tank, you will be simply eating it just like so, with your Belied, or with whatever tank you're playing, essentially. Just wanted to highlight this part here with a Paladin. If you're not with a Paladin, it's going to be different. You just do it as normal. Okay? Just wanted to highlight this part. Now here is how it's done normally without a Paladin. So as you can see, both tanks are on their mob. They focus their mob, and instead of one person, 2 people will get it. You will just mitigate that like so. Boom. Just like so. So just wanted to clarify that there's a difference when you're playing with a Paladin and when you're not playing with a Paladin. Keep in mind of this. And that's pretty much it. That is the end of Phase 1 and the beginning of Phase 2. And that about wraps up Phase 1 of Top. I appreciate y'all so much for watching. Once again, make sure you guys check out the LPDU Discord server. It's a Discord server of lovely folks. We're all trying to help each other clear. We're all, there's a lot of people progging, a lot of people helping out each other. It's a wonderful community, so make sure you guys join that. Once again, it is down in the description below. Next up will be Phase 2, where we talk about the famous party synergy that everybody talks about, because we all love Phase 2. Oh yeah, it's a bit of a journey. But yeah, thank you all so much for watching. Super appreciate it. And I'll catch you hopefully on the next video. Peace out. Much love. And remember that nothing is true and everything is permitted.